Hey Midland, it's Kristen and Jacob here for What's Up in the City Planning Edition. We're going to chat about the most recent City Planning Commission meeting, which happened on June 24th of this year. Jacob, how you doing?
Doing great, Chris. How are you?
Doing good. I'm glad the heat's kind of dived down
Finally
a little bit, so that's good. Let's talk about the Planning Commission meeting that happened this week. There was a CUP, a Conditional Use Permit, and then 2 site plans. Can you talk to me a little bit about that CUP?
Sure. So we had 3 public hearings, all automobile use related. The CUP 91 was is a request from Richardson Buick GMC for a parking lot expansion on a portion of land contiguous to their dealership lot that's zoned residential. So because of the residential zoning on the property, commercial parking lots are allowed when they're serving an adjacent business, but they do require a conditional use permit review and approval. So last night was the first step in that process with the Planning Commission's review of that request and their recommendation to City Council. City Council ultimately will receive that recommendation, set their own public hearing on the case. That'll take place in August, and then they'll have an opportunity to review and make a final decision.
Okay, and in case of the process, City Council then would also be able to hear public comment through their public hearing.
Yeah, so a conditional use permit has 2 public hearings, one with the Planning Commission for their recommendation and then one with City Council for their final decision. So there'll be a second opportunity for public input on the project at that point. The City Council ultimately will review the project against the condition or the standards that are included in the zoning ordinance for the use before they make their final decision.
Okay, and then going into the site plans that we had the last night, they will have no more public comment, correct?
Yeah, so site plans are subject, those that come to the Planning Commission are subject to 1 public hearing, which was last night. The Planning Commission, in accordance with their bylaws, doesn't make decisions on site plans generally at that meeting. They would make the decision at the following meeting. Site plans are generally a review process for permitted uses in zoning districts. So uses that are already determined to be appropriate in a zoning district. It's just a matter of a review to determine whether or not the project meets the minimum standards of the ordinance. So are setbacks met, landscaping standards, screening, lighting, parking, etc. So it's a review to make sure those are fully met. Like most projects, it's rare for us to have a project that's 100% compliant with all standards at the time of submittal and review by the Planning Commission. So there's usually some conditions imposed with a approval that help us to address that. As long as there's confidence on the part of the city and on the part of the petitioner that those conditions can be met without major changes to the plan. And we're usually talking about minor things like maybe some reallocation of landscaping, some additional details being added to the plan for just confirmation of compliance. But ultimately, that kind of second step allows time for that applicant to pull together those details, bring them back to the Planning Commission, and then the Planning Commission to take all that information together before making a final decision. Okay,
so we had 2 site plans at meeting. Let's talk a little bit about each of them.
Yeah, so again, both automobile related. The first was a request from Mr. Car Wash, which is located on South Saginaw Road at Washington Street. That request was to modify the circulation patterns on the site, primarily to enable a new design for their vacuum space, which is along that front South Saginaw Road portion of the property. So that was the first project that was reviewed. The second was a request from Garber Chevrolet for a new body shop location. This property is addressed on North Saginaw Road, but it's kind of tucked back in behind Northwest Plaza, where Family Fair is located, and the Garber Chevy dealership. It's currently home to the Michigan Secretary of State office location. The proposal there is to demolish about 2/3 of that existing building and to replace that with a new building that will be attached to the Secretary of State's office to serve as a new home for the Garber's Body Shop.
Okay, cool. And those site plans will come back to the Planning Commission on July 8th, correct?
Yeah, so our next meeting on July 8th, the Planning Commission will consider final decision on both of those projects.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing the information as always.
My pleasure.
And as always, you can catch our meetings live on MGTV, Cable Channel Charter 188, Cable Channel Uverse 99. You can also head to our city website, cityofmidlandmi.gov, to watch them on demand. As always, Midland, we thank you for watching, and we will catch you all later.